Look, I can't help but think that now might be a good time for a little fire and ice. These
Do not know. It's never a good time for fire and ice.
What happens when you mix fire and ice?
Warm water, baby.
It's bubbling, baby. Warm water. Warm water.
It is time, finally. After what feels like a month of Sundays, I stole it from you.
You did. You can have it.
Fire and Ice is back. We're over here at Union Draft House, 730 Sunland Park Drive, in the parking lot of what used to be called Sunland Park Mall. It's something else now.
Yeah, I can't remember the name. It's brand new.
The Shops at something.
The Shops at something.
There we go. That's a great name for a
the
place.
Shops
The Shops
at
at something.
It's something.
That's how you know you could buy something.
At the Shops of something.
Yeah, whenever they tell you all the time, like, hey, I just want to go buy something, you can just go to the Shops of something.
Come to the Shops of something to purchase something.
There we go. Hey, I think we might have just made a new marketing strategy.
That's a good shtick. That's a good slogan.
That's a great one.
I like it.
But it is Saturday, so that means we got the $2 build-your-own pizzas along with the $4 ciders because it's a cider day as well. But we are always happy to come out here with our friends at Union Draft House, a very hospitable place. They always take care of us. We've already got the pizzas on the trays. We've got the beers a-flowing. At least I do because I'm a derelict and I've got no problem saying it. But Brandon has been gone. You were on vacation. I was on vacation. Daver was probably on vacation, not missing any of this at all.
Right.
He was like, thank God I don't have to deal with these idiots.
I missed him like a hole in the head.
I love that you always have some weird line to say.
I know. I'm full of them, But
You're full of a lot of things.
Don't say that. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell everybody.
All right, but we got a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. NFL Hall of Fame is happening right now. A lot of cool players. Zach Thomas, of course, me being a Texas Tech fan, I'm excited to see that, is joining the Hall of Fame. Joe Thomas as well, the longtime Cleveland Brown who never left despite the fact that he could have been a Super Bowl contender on any time he wanted to. They're getting enshrined into the Hall of Fame along with Darrelle Revis. And I don't know if you saw, Brandon, the videos of Darrelle Revis whenever he was getting announced that he was going into the Hall of Fame. My guy looks like he hasn't missed a meal. Like, he's eating good.
He hasn't missed a meal since he retired.
He was a 5'10", like 215 cornerback, and he's got to be pushing $3 bills now.
Yeah. That man's visited every buffet from here to Ohio. He hasn't missed one, right?
When you get them big NFL checks, you eat good.
Yeah, you eat well. Well, I mean, more power to him. And now he's got a new career. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, that's good for him. And of course, I don't know how much of the Hall of Fame game you watch. I watched about a quarter, and I just preseason for me is kind of like, I've never really gotten that into it. But again, it does solidify the fact that football is officially back, and it was good to see Aaron Rodgers on the sidelines, and at least it's back in some capacity, right?
It's not back. The Hall of Fame game is like, unless the Cowboys are playing, I don't watch it. Like, and this is coming from a guy that watches NBA Summer League basketball.
Yeah, but that's your bread and butter, though.
I refuse to watch any preseason.
I'll watch
game.
a little bit, but I hardly watch it. I mean, it's a joke because you don't see real football.
Because they just, you got your starters in for a drive or two.
Pretty
and
much.
Then it's just a bunch of guys that you're probably not going to see again.
Right.
Because they're still trying to make the roster. And then you fall in love with like one of the players, like, oh my God, he's so great.
And he's gone.
He's got
he's
the practice squad of the Commanders or whatever they're going to be.
Sure.
Also, they've been sold since the last time we were on a show. That's how long it's been since we've been on a show. The Commanders got sold.
Whoa. That's crazy. It's been a while.
Wow. Huh? Although it's been, as you said, a month of Sundays.
Yes, it has, literally. Because I came back on the 22nd, and that was a Saturday. And then we haven't done a show since I've been back, have we?
I think we did one singular show in July.
We did?
In July, like the whole month of July. Not since you've been back, but the whole month of July.
Because I was gone for 2 weeks, so it was early July. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because we were talking the UFC 290 card, remember, with your buddy
Troy Farkas. Whenever he joined us, you called him Josh.
You called him Josh, and then that was stupid of me. But anyways, so that was like July, 2nd, whatever, 1st maybe. Oh my God,
it's been a while.
It's been a month of Sundays.
As Stained would say, it's been a while.
It's been a while since I blah blah. Okay, never mind.
Wow,
sorry.
that was interesting.
That was terrible.
I don't know what that was since I blah blah. Also sounds very sexual in its nature. David, did you miss us at all? Like, I'm hoping you did, but I also could tell by the look in your eyes you're regretting your decisions.
I was happy to have some charging time, and I'm happy to be back here.
That's recharging time. That was a nice way of putting
Yeah,
it.
right.
I like
He's
that.
I was away from you morons for a month, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But now we're back, so that's all that counts, right?
For those that don't know, David is the life support of this
He is
show.
our buddy.
As we are currently on ventilators right now, Dave is the electricity that allows us to survive.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dave, for being a part of all the nonsense that we do. But you were talking about preseason kind of lets you know that football's back. The way that I know football's back is we've already got a whole bunch of college realignment.
Crazy.
We are talking
Crazy stuff.
a couple of years ago, just so we can backtrack a little bit, right? We're not going to go all the way back to a couple of years ago, but during that time, UT and Oklahoma say deuces to the Big 12, going to the SEC.
Right.
UCLA and USC say see ya to the Pac-12, going to the Big 10. Everybody thought that was the death nail for the Big 12, not necessarily the Pac-12.
Pac-12, yeah.
But for the Big 12, we thought it's done. You've only got Texas Tech. Oklahoma State's going to leave. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We thought that they were just going to get poached and put out to any of these other conferences. They came back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
They've got Utah. They've got Arizona. They've got Arizona State now heading over, along with Colorado, heading back to the Big 12, growing that entire division. The Pac-12 this week also losing Oregon to the Big 10.
Oh.
All that's left in the Pac-12, Stanford, Cal, Utah State, and Oregon State.
Wow. Crazy.
That entire conference.
It's gone.
Gone.
It's gone, man.
We just saw the death of a conference, and I could have swore 2 years
and
ago.
a Power 5 conference.
I could have swore 2 years ago the Power 5 conference that would have folded would have been the Big 12.
Absolutely. The Big 12 on paper was going to be gone like a fart in the wind, especially after losing Texas and OU. You could never predict this kind of thing, but that is all about the conference realignments and all about the shekels today. And unless you're in the SEC, the Big 12, the Big 10, then really you're not safe. I mean, or essentially, let's put it this way. It's not that you're not safe, but it's that if you're a named program, if you're a good program, you're not going to be back there left to die. You're going to ultimately go somewhere where you have the ability to have better opportunities. And that's exactly what these programs have done. And I'm not surprised at all with the way it's going today.
My guy, Stephen Michael Puga, saying UTEP to the Pac-12. How about that? You know I would, if I'm UTEP, why not?
I mean, UTEP, look, okay, here's the thing. It goes without saying that UTEP has needed to get out of CUSA forever. But, I mean, why would any big-size conference or at least notable conference take them? Again, you have to prove something.
Is no longer notable.
But even with the three teams that are in there, it's a hell of a lot more notable than CUSA.
Everything that the Pac-12 had that made it noticeable
is gone for the most part.
It is a skeleton of itself.
But look at CUSA. Come on.
I mean, yeah, but CUSA, we're going to watch that. They're going to crumble too. I would have thought that the conferences that would have left us would have been we would have been like, oh, wow, remember those SWAC days? That would have been about Conference USA, and it would have been about the Big 12. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the Pac-12, and the Pac-12 is going to have to get some teams now, because whenever you look at what the Big 12 has, that's actually a pretty formidable conference, and it's going to be fun.
No doubt.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think for Arizona, for Arizona State, for Utah, those are some pretty decent name programs.
No doubt.
The thing that I think killed them in the eyes of everybody is what time were Pac-12 games?
Oh, early.
No.
Or Pac-12, no, late.
You might have meant
late,
early,
like 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Early the next day.
Eastern Standard Time, 10, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, whenever your game is
early
ending at 2 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, no one's watching your game.
No one's watching. That's the big drawback of a Pac-12
least with
game.
the Big 12 being most
Central
teams
time
Central,
zone. Yeah.
It'll force Arizona to play some of those early games, get their people some notoriety, get out there, do some stuff. They had an ESPN analyst in Herm Edwards as a coach at ASU. And even he couldn't get any love from ESPN to actually look at his damn games, because they were just so late in the evening after a full day of where you're just injecting college football into your veins from 10 o'clock in the morning our time
until
9 o'clock God knows what time at night.
By the time those games occur, people are sleeping on the East Coast, no doubt.
Yeah, and you're covered in shame glaze. And You've been eating wings and beer and just ejaculating all over the place. It's been a fun time.
Yeah. Speak for yourself. Anyways, that's why I love you. Boy,
you're the one that said you love football more than I do.
Yeah, but I wasn't going to compare it to that. But anyways, it's an interesting analogy, I guess. Boy, am I glad you're back.
Metaphorical ejaculation.
Yes, absolutely.
There we go.
Yes, that's great.
I just love using
Changing
phrases.
the subject on a different note. No,
I just love
kidding.
making you uncomfortable. I can see you're turning red already.
I am not
It
turning
makes me
red.
happy.
I am not red. I'm just a red person. That's all. Instead of orange, I'm red. Like our buddy Trump, instead of orange, I'm red.
Our buddy, I don't know about that.
He's a phenomenal.
Stephen Michael Puga was saying that he was kind of joking about the Pac-12 thing, but he would like to see UTEP go to the Mountain West Conference soon. It would be cool. Also asking where we're at. We are at Union Draft House, 730 Sunland Park on the west side of El Paso. Come hit it up. We've got $2 build your own pizzas, $4 ciders. I don't know why I do this. I'm terrible at doing all the promos, but you know what? I'm powering through it, Brandon. No one would have recognized my mess ups if I hadn't have said it.
That's right. And I love poor Destiny, the wife. Every time I come, she gets her pizzas and she's, Iceman's here. And I'm like, oh, may I?
You're stealing pizza from children.
Well, they love me, though. Your kids, I'm like Uncle Iceman.
Uncle Iceman.
Yeah,
I'll get you a shirt that says Uncle Iceman.
Thank you. I've been called worse, but no, they do. They you can have a piece or two or who knows what. But
I
anyways,
might have called you worse. No,
more than likely you have.
All right, Dave, what would you like to see UTEP do? Do you want to see them join the Pac-12, stay in Conference USA, go to a bigger conference? Because for me personally, I would like UTEP to go independent. I don't think they're big enough to let people really care about UTEP football. I'd like to see them go independent, create their own schedule, just have a bunch of money games to get as much money as you can to get that ass whooped.
And they can write the script on their own terms if they do it that way.
Yeah, but the problem is with an independent program is that the great unknown. I mean, I think that obviously, you look at a team like, let's say, Notre Dame, they can afford to be independent, but ultimately UTEP is farthest, from a Notre Dame that you could ever imagine. But look, it's obviously you're going to get the big money games every year, even though they don't, they get at least one big money game every year, but you'll get the at Alabama game every year because you're independent. But it's also about not being part of a conference and not having the solidity, I guess, of being in a conference, which to me is kind of scary.
What solidity does UTEP have in Conference USA?
Well, I mean, the fact that they've been there for 20 years now,
and
or
what
almost?
good has that done?
I mean, well, because everybody left, not much. But
how far can John Teicher spin a game in order to promote a losing record for the opening season?
And that was the thing. So I saw the funniest comment here from Destiny saying, "I just want to watch them win." That doesn't happen very often. So don't get if those are your hopes, I want to watch them win again. And I'll say this to my dying breath because I got 100 years of history behind me saying this team averages 3 wins a game or 3 wins a year.
Yeah.
Averages 3 wins a year. We're not going to see a lot of wins from UTEP. The bowl appearances are the anomaly. They're not the expectation.
Yeah, and when they make them, they don't win them, unfortunately, right?
55, 56 years, 57.
1967. Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah, it'll be 57 years of us of ineptitude.
It's ridiculous.
As a Dallas Cowboys fan, I'm embracing it.
Well, you have to. And the fact that NMSU's won 2 within the last, 10 years is like, it boggles my mind to think that UTEP can't win a damn bowl game.
Destiny saying she'd like to see him win 5 games at a minimum. 5 games.
I mean, that's the thing.
6.
You would think it's not that hard considering the conference that they're in, but apparently that's
just 6.
Easier said than done.
And I think about this too, and this is another thing that I wanted to talk about as I see the Fastic-Tipton, wherever that is, Fastic-Tipton Company in Saratoga.
Then they show a horse's ass.
Yeah, fits perfectly. That was just random on FS1 as
Yeah.
we're having horse races going on right now.
Right.
But going back to like all that stuff, right? Whenever I look at UTEP and I see that they've been in this fledgling, just horrible conference that Conference USA has become. 15, 20 years ago, whenever UTEP first joined, Conference USA was kind of respectable.
Yeah, it was.
You had Cincinnati.
Very respectable.
You had SMU. You had Memphis. You had some pretty good teams there.
Memphis, absolutely.
Now it's, whenever UTEP and UTSA are your stalwarts, you got some problems.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, whenever I look at what's happened recently, especially in the world of soccer with Saudi Arabian money coming in, and you got players like Ronaldo going and playing in Saudi Arabia against lesser competition, it doesn't bring out the best in you. That's why we're not seeing the big name superstars now from the Premier League leave. And it's weird to hear me talk about soccer, I know, but we're not seeing these big name new young guys leaving the Premier League to go chase that money in Saudi Arabia because they want to play against the best. If you're not playing against the best possible competition for you, you're not going to get better. And I think that that's been the issue for UTEP is we can look at UTEP all the time and say, this is a team that should dominate.
Well,
on paper, they're a really solid team.
yeah,
But whenever you look at them, whenever they go against these games where we say, yeah, UTEP should win this
they
game,
lose.
they don't bring up their level of play.
Yeah.
But then they hang with a team like Oklahoma and Texas for a half, even though they're just way outmanned and outgunned.
Right.
And you think to yourself, okay, if this was a team that had that regularly, what would they be able to do? Because you look at teams like Rutgers. Even back in the day, I love Texas Tech. Back in the day, Texas Tech was one of the laughing stocks of football.
Yeah.
So
they haven't been for a
gotta,
long time.
But you got to build your way up.
Obviously,
and have
Mike
that
Leach
competition.
turned that around, and Kingsbury, came in after that and took care of business. But yeah, I mean, and obviously, I have to go back to the soccer thing. Messi, I guess, he's talking about the greatest player ever who can't get any better. You're now here playing in the States for MLS and just showing what a joke it is, how much better he is than all those other players, but been making a ridiculous amount of money. And
that's the thing, right? So he's already done, his legacy is cemented.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now it's just let me get his
and he got his World Cup, championship, last year, I think. So yeah, I mean, it's like now let me just continue to make a shitload of money and prove that the competition here is a freaking joke in comparison to how good I really am.
I must say, in soccer terms, an ancient Lionel Messi
is still better than anybody
just
here.
Running shop on the MLS.
Yeah, making everybody look like just a joke,
the fact that he had 4 goals in his first 2 games as an MLS player.
It's crazy.
And one of them, he didn't even play the first half.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
But I mean, it's good for our sport. Well, our sport. It's good for the sport, obviously, because of the fact that he's playing here. I mean, who would have ever thought? So, I mean, that's good for stadiums.
What about the bromance between he and David Beckham? I don't know if I saw that coming, but David Beckham is like, he wants him.
Well, do you blame him?
No, I mean, Messi's a little dude though. He's not like if it went off of looks, I think Beckham's much better looking than Messi.
Potentially.
And
but
Beckham's
Messi's
the one
Messi.
paying Messi.
But Messi's Messi,
Yeah, well, I guess if you want to get really messy with it.
Well, you could get messy with Messi. But I mean, yeah, going back to UTEP ultimately. I mean, look, the one thing that's guaranteed is that they'll be underachievers, unfortunately. And I mean, I'm not going to say this, lightly, but I'm going to say it anyways. I mean, I think last year it goes without saying, coming after the bowl appearance at the New Mexico Bowl game that they, to me, clearly should have won, but they lost, unfortunately. But I'm talking last year was a disappointment because you didn't make another consecutive bowl game, and you clearly should have by winning at UTSA. Again, you regress. And that's exactly the only thing that fans can look forward to with this program is regression. And I hate to say it, but it's true, and I hope I'm wrong this year. I really do.
UTEP plays in the stadium that they last won a bowl game in 1967.
Crazy, right?
That's insane, right? So you basically won a home game that was a bowl game
against Florida State
50 some odd years ago, right?
Yeah.
My thing with UTEP is we got to find a way to get them better. And I don't think staying in Conference USA is going to be that way. You go to a different conference, maybe a larger conference. Everyone says the Mountain West because of like the old rivalries. If the teams in the Mountain West wanted UTEP back in the day, they would have invited UTEP to the Mountain West. Yeah. They never got that invite.
Yeah, they didn't because nobody wants them there.
Exactly. Because, I mean, let's face it, New Mexico State, UTEP, we're in this weird purgatory of the country.
Middle of nowhere.
Forgotten little itty-bitty corner that we get to claim as ours, and we have our fabricated rivalry of I-10, the construction.
And I mean, in the end, it's all about the money, and they're not going to generate any money.
Exactly.
That's the problem, is they're not going to generate any money. There's no interest. Except out of El Paso, what interest is there in UTEP football?
Well, I mean, even in
El Paso, it's still
very
low.
Great.
It's very low, rightfully so.
Yeah, you have a city of 800,000 people. You can't sell out a 51,000-seat stadium.
Ever. I mean, even when one of the, other than the Texas game, even when a big program comes, they're looking at maybe 40 if they're lucky, 30, and that's if they're lucky.
Also, the opinions against UTEP are Brandon Cones and not
says the biggest UTEP basher out there.
I don't bash them.
No, but I'm honest though. That's the thing is I'm honest. Okay?
I want better. We deserve better as fans. I'm not even a UTEP fan. Look, that's the thing about it.
I like Dimmel. I like what he's done.
I like him. Guest of the show, friend of the show.
He's a friend of the show. When he came on a while ago, he's a good guy. He's established a good culture, a good program here overall. And I would like nothing more than them to, make it back to a bowl game and win a damn bowl game. That's the thing, is that be consistent, man. I mean, you know what winning a bowl game would do for this program? I mean, it would just be huge, doing wonders. I mean, I'm just saying, that's all.
But, I mean, we know how that is, right? Like, you look at teams like the Dallas Cowboys and even the Cubs a long time, the Red Sox, they had to go through these, like, long extended droughts. Now my New York Yankees, it's been 13 years since they won a World Series.
Hard to believe.
It's hell.
Yeah.
But you look at these teams that have these long extended droughts. That ultimately does, as much as people say it doesn't, it does weigh on the players. And I wonder how much pressure these UTEP players have to feel whenever they go to a bowl game.
Sure.
Because it is few and far between. And you have the expectations of, you know what, on paper, you're the better team. You should win this game. None of us are asking UTEP to win a national championship.
No.
We're not asking them to win the Sugar Bowl, the Orange Bowl, any of that. We're asking them to win like the New Mexico Toilet Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And they still cannot do that. Let's just win something. Literally anything.
Yeah.
Can you win the Arizona I don't give a F bowl?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
No, but there's tens of people watching, and the pressure is still too much for them.
Yeah.
I said that on purpose. Tens of people watching.
Yeah. And it's harsh to say that. I mean, and that's the thing is they're not asking him to win a big bowl game. I mean, the New Mexico Bowl is far from it. It's not a big bowl game because it's like one of the first,
Yeah.
It's always that first Saturday.
Whenever Selection Sunday happens, and then on Monday you're playing a bowl game, it wasn't the game people care about.
Yeah. You're one of the first four or whatever. You know what I mean? Let's put it that way. I mean, but yeah, I mean, for them, anything is good though. You're playing against other competition outside of CUSA.
But you know what?
So
I'm going to flip
it's a good thing.
I'm going to flip it. I'm going to make it a good thing. UTEP has won the Sun Bowl multiple times.
Yeah.
They play in it.
Yep.
So anytime they win in the Sun Bowl, they've won a bowl game.
Sure.
See, look at that. That's positive. We're putting positive juju out there. UTEP has won multiple bowl games in
the
seasons.
Sun Bowl. In the Sun Bowl.
No asterisks. UTEP has won multiple bowl games.
Yeah.
And they will continue to do so. I'm putting that out there in the universe. Dana Dimmel, you can show me a little bit of love, anything you want. Friend of the show, FOT, friend of Tip.
Friend of Tip.
He probably hates my guts.
I bet he does.
I bet you he was so apprehensive once he got up here. He was like, oh, this fucking guy.
I remember this guy. He calls me Dimmel.
It is. I don't know how to pronounce
I think it's Dimmel.
Dimmel, whatever.
Pretty sure it's Dimmel.
How would you pronounce it, David?
As long as it's not Dimple, we're in good shape.
Yeah. Maybe we could have asked him. I didn't thought about that. Why we had.
Well, that's also embarrassing. It would be like, how do you say? Is it cajon or cone?
Cone, like an ice cream cone.
Yeah.
But I get asked that all the time.
Do you?
Yes.
Wow, people are. I would never ask someone that
Cohen,
question.
is it Cohen? Is it Khan? Everybody mispronounces it.
Really?
Yeah.
For
the most part. And then they always tell me, hey, that stadium's named after you. I'm like, no, that's not me. I'm not that Cohen. That's Andy Cohen, and it's Sid and Andy Cohen.
I know there's somebody that we used to work with that used to call you Cohen.
And I don't know if could have been our buddy. You don't remember Andy Cohen, do you?
No.
Or Andy Lee, rather, who his mom works at she's a marina.
Yeah.
So that's Andy. He's the grandson of Sid and Andy Cohen. So
there's
Andy Cohen.
There's someone that
Cohen?
I know that always calls you Cohen.
Cohen.
Because it sticks in my head. I've said it to Destiny a few times too. I was like, someone calls it like
we
it's
worked
Cohen.
with, huh?
Yeah. At the queue, someone always calls you Cohen. I got to try to remember who it is now.
I don't know.
It's going to bother me, and I'm going to text you at like 3 o'clock.
Don't let it bother you.
At 3 in the morning while I'm watching Pac-12 games.
And it's still the first quarter.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm excited because in a month, we're getting the NFL back. In less than a month, we're getting college football back. In a couple of months, we're getting the NBA back.
Sure.
Those that don't remember, October's my Christmas time because you got hockey, you got the NBA, you got Major League Baseball and the World Series, you got college football, you got the NFL, college basketball. Like it's just all surrounding you. October, that's the best month of the year if you're a sports person. Soccer fans, I don't know much about your schedule. Does it happen in October?
Well, the Locomotive play until October, don't they? I know they play till about mid-October, if I'm not mistaken. But other soccer, I couldn't answer that question. What are you looking at me like that for? I mean, the Locomotive do play until October.
Adrian Zamudio giving us a little bit of love, saying, hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Adrian, how's it going?
How you doing, buddy?
You got any questions? If you have soccer questions, this is the spot.
Oh, yeah,
for it.
absolutely.
We know everything about soccer.
I don't know how long MLS goes. I mean, I imagine they got to be done by then.
I've got no clue.
Probably done by
I have just
September,
like
maybe.
a specific amount of bandwidth that I can give to sports, and soccer just will never make it into that. Like I love my Vegas Golden Knights. I watched them 7 times this year, and all those games were in the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So, like,
Hey, at least you watch them during the right time of the year.
You watch
They
them
won
when
the
they
Stanley
win,
Cup,
baby.
didn't they?
That's my championship. I was walking around my jersey like I'm a champion.
Yeah.
I forgot what that feels like. Thank you to the Spurs of 2014.
Speaking of jerseys, I know you love jerseys, right?
Yes.
So I haven't owned a jersey in years, but I want to wear a jersey that I bought recently that I think you're going to like.
What kind of jersey is it?
Well, it's
because I was actually
show
thinking
you,
about this based off a conversation I had the other day. I went over to the Gentleman's Republic. I always give them a little bit of love. They hook me up really good. My haircut looks
You
good.
look
My
very
beard
handsome.
looks good.
It's funny. You and your son have the same haircut. It's adorable, right? Kind of. No. Well, you give me that look for what I say.
Oh no,
I think you guys have a similar haircut.
I guess,
You
yeah.
and Jinder, no?
Yeah, and Jericho, like all just
Yeah.
Jericho's got like super thick hair.
No, but like his hair, Jinder's hair looks like yours right now. No doubt.
Yeah.
Like you guys could be twins.
But I went over there, and my barber actually knows a couple of like my family members, like kind of extended family, and he was talking about one of my brother-in-laws, former brother-in-laws, I guess, because my sister's been married like 4 times, but talking about him and that he saw him walk into a feed store down in Clint, and he was wearing like a really old football jersey. And I thought to myself, when do you become too old to wear jerseys? Because our buddy Mondo the Monster Medina, I got nothing but love for you, dude. You tuck your jersey into your jeans, it's a bad look. Like I'm sorry, like who does that?
Okay, here's the jersey.
Okay, that's a baseball jersey, and that's the thing to
But
me.
that's
right?
a cool jersey, right?
Like baseball jerseys, and this one right here, if you can turn it to the camera or whatever. It's an El Paso Chihuahuas. It's not going to pick it up.
No,
but it's an El Paso Chihuahuas jersey. It just says El Paso on it.
It's
right
cool
there.
though. But look at the side.
No, and I love it because it's got like the little Chihuahua and stuff on it. For me, baseball jerseys, you can wear those forever.
Yeah, right.
But then I sit there and I think to myself, like, I'm wearing basketball jerseys because I love my jerseys.
Yeah,
that's like of Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like most of the people that see me now
They know
have
you're
no
old as
idea
hell.
who the hell Michael Jordan is.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
And
for,
then, like,
you know,
I refrain from buying jerseys of newer players because there's so much change on, like,
and
teams.
or you could just take the whole route of I'm buying the jersey with no name on the back, which is obviously this one here for the Chihuahuas. I just haven't owned a jersey in years. I don't wear jerseys, but I was recently at a game and I really liked the road jersey. I was like, this is cool, man.
And that's the thing for me is like the Chihuahuas have some really cool jerseys.
They do.
The one where they're like the most iconic jersey in sports, where it's like the dog's face on the jersey.
Yeah,
that is the ugliest GD thing I've seen in my life.
But see, this one is great, and I'll tell you why. It's their road jersey, but it says El Paso, which I think is very nostalgic, in red. The gray is a great-looking jersey, and then, of course, the dog on the side, that's their logo, which is the greatest logo in the world, in my opinion. So that's why I like it.
2 people helping us out are our vast and extensive soccer research department here.
Tell us
on
we're schmucks.
Fire and Ice is letting us know that Destiny says that the schedule for, I guess, the Locomotive MLS is from February 25th to October 21st. That's the regular season.
Okay. So then it goes into
How
November.
long are the effing playoffs?
Probably a month or so.
Because that's 9 months of regular season.
It's a long time.
Like, who the hell watches soccer that long? Anyway,
Not me,
whatever.
that's
I'm
for
just
sure.
some random ass dude.
And then of course, obviously, the Locomotive play until October. So it would make sense that and they start in March, right? So that would mean it does kind of correspond with the MLS season ultimately.
Our guy, Jonathan Hood, I want to give him a little bit of love. Check out the new episode that he has of Good Karma's Wrestling with WWE's LA Knight. Go check that out on all of the podcast forums. Under the Hood, you can check out all the stuff that he's doing. That's a dude I got nothing but love for since day one. He's asking us a question here, Brandon.
Okay. We
already answered it, but let's go ahead and recap it here for him. Is there any way that UTEP can find a new conference in this new reconfigured CFB landscape? I think the doors on some of the bigger conferences should be wide open, right? Like, if UTEP isn't, like, at least picking up the phone and asking the Pac-12, like, hey, we're UTEP, but I think Stanford and Cal would enjoy beating the hell out of us. And then, for whatever reason, El Paso, because we're closer to L.A. than we are to Houston, loves everything California. I think that would be, like, a good kind of vibe, right? Like we would love to have something like that. Stanford comes down here and makes fun of Texas all the time whenever they come to the Sun Bowl.
And they never bring their stars, of course.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey sits all the time,
Right.
but that was a long time ago. We need to get over that.
Yeah.
But I think that would be something cool, right? Like trying to see UTEP do that. If they're not at least picking up the phone.
Yeah.
they're doing their fans a disservice.
I mean, here's the thing. I think that they've been picking up the phone for years. I
There's
think
no-
it goes without saying.
It goes to
It
voicemail.
just always goes to voicemail. It's like, they're always being sent straight to voicemail, or they're like, oh, it's a telemarketer calling, and they don't answer. I mean, again, you're gonna take one side, I'm gonna take the other side. There's no effing way in hell that any program is going to take UTEP right now. Not until you win a friggin' bowl game and show a little bit of program legitimacy in some way to generate shekels. And because here's the thing, again, I'm going back to this. There's a million teams that are a hell of a lot better than UTEP that would be knocking the Pac-12's door down to go because of the vacancies now. And yes, it's not going to be the division or the conference that it used to be, but there's still a lot better programs that will be willing to go over there now.
Early
Other
on,
team's gone.
Early on, I had this mindset whenever UT and Oklahoma left the Big 12. I was like, there's going to be a mass exodus from the Big 12. And I had these thoughts of maybe, just maybe, this hot take that I had 6 years ago would come true of UTEP going to the Big 12. Now that they've got, Arizona and Colorado, Arizona State, Utah, I know UTEP's not they've got no chance.
No way.
But let's talk about how possibly they can go to maybe the American. It doesn't have to be the Pac-12.
See, that would be,
but
moving on up. That would be moving on up. It'd be great. It'd be great because a lot of those old CUSA teams went to the AAC. And that would be a legitimate step up in conference play. And that would be huge. I mean, but again, it goes without saying that you have to be wanted in order to move to another conference. And you have to be able to offer something that other programs can't offer. And unfortunately, UTEP has something that all those other programs, there's a strike against them. And that's the fact that they have no legitimacy. That's the problem.
I think, and people are going to hate me for this, and this has always been my take, Brandon. You've listened to this for the last 8 years, which is crazy to think we've been doing stuff together for 8 years.
Wow.
But
it's been that long. Whoa.
My thought process on this all the time is that the reason why UTEP doesn't get to keep some of the big stars that we have here in El Paso, the reason why UTEP doesn't get to have the brand recognition is because the fans are so damn fickle. The fans are constantly just turning their back on UTEP the second things get difficult. Whenever the Cubs had 108 years of not winning a World Series, they still had 108 years of constant sellouts.
That's Wrigley Field too.
Texas Tech, whenever they were horrible, they had sellouts. That's why they have such a huge, absolutely huge stadium in Lubbock.
It's nice.
I think the stadium fits more than people live in Lubbock.
Yeah, Jones ATT, I think it holds about 60-ish.
And whenever you look at a lot of these, even Rutgers used to be the laughing stock of college football.
It became more popular.
Their fans were absolutely just
Won some
ravenous
big games,
about it. UTEP doesn't seem to have that.
No.
And
Because
it's like the El Paso mindset. How often do we see the Chihuahuas will have a sellout on a Friday and Saturday, then they make it to the playoffs, and there ain't a goddamn
friends
person
and
in the
family,
stands.
and they're like, well, it's a school night. I don't give a shit. It's still, you're not supporting your team. I agree. I think that's part of it. I think I'll say this. I'll say it once and I'll say it again. Unfortunately, a lot of El Paso sports fans are fair weather fans. Okay. But again, your program has given you nothing to get excited about. I mean, even with football, as shitty as they've been for years now.
You made it to the New Mexico Bowl 2 years ago.
No. I say football. I meant basketball. Even with basketball being as shitty as it's been for years and years and years, not doing anything for 30 years or whatever, they're still, you'll get $5,000 in the stand because this is more of a basketball town than really anything else, And of course, the program actually has a winning history. But we know what the football team has done. We know what the football team has you look forward to every single year. And to me, that kills it from the beginning of the season on, unfortunately. What's funny?
Jonathan Hood sends me a text, asks me if this is acceptable. I don't know if you've seen the videos or not.
Okay.
I have a love-hate relationship with the Yankees right now. I love them, and
They're in last place, aren't they?
I love them.
They suck this year.
They are starting to become like all my sports teams are starting to become the Dallas Cowboys. Where I feel like they're doing this on purpose.
There's only the Dallas Cowboys. Let's call they'll break our heart for sure in January. It always happens.
The other day, Giancarlo Stanton came up in a big spot for the Yankees. His history with the Yankees, whenever they need him to have a pinch hit or a big hit, is abysmal.
Yeah.
Pinch hits 0 for 22.
It was probably better with the Marlins.
Big hit moments for the Yankees, 5 of 160.
Ooh. That hasn't worked out, unfortunately.
5.
That's terrible.
5 hits out of 160. I feel like I could stick a bat out there and get that.
Easily.
Like, and I'm terrible at baseball, right?
Yeah.
But I've been watching him. I'm like, this guy, like, even though he's huge and he's buff, he's built like a Greek god. Whenever you watch him run, and this is what Jonathan Hood is talking about, they say he runs like your drunk uncle at a slow pitch softball game.
Oh my God!
Oh, look at
Dude,
that!
that's like you trying to
Look
run.
at that!
What is he in slow? What is he running in slow
He
motion
is
or
running
what?
in literal
Are
quicksand.
you kidding me?
He is running in
I mean,
literal
you
quicksand.
could have beaten a throw. You could have beaten a throw, and you're limping a little bit. It's like
he runs like your drunk uncle
God.
at slow pitch softball.
That's funny.
I have, you know what?
That's a good line. That's a funny. That's a funny. Good job.
And Hoodie's asking, is it acceptable? I think what he's asking is acceptable. Like, where was the hustle at?
There was no hustle.
Where's the slide at the end?
There was no slide. There was no hustle. I don't want to slide. I don't want to get hurt for the 100th time. That's what it was.
A lot of people hated on the Yankees whenever they had A-Rod. They hated on A-Rod especially. Like, everyone loved hating A-Rod. I used to call him, I still do call him the people's champ, right? Like, I love me some Alex Rodriguez. Also, follows me on Twitter. Weird.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why,
X,
but
it's called X now. But Alex Rodriguez, for some strange reason, follows me. Insane. But because I might have been the only person saying nice things about him. So he's Dominican.
Oh. Well, the countries are close. Puerto Rico's not a country, and I was just there. That's the funny thing.
I wish
just
we
saw
could have
his
had-
picture too, and he's from the Dominican Republic.
I wish people could have been tuned in before because they have no idea what we're talking
I know,
about.
right?
And I'm not going to embarrass you.
I
like
hide
that.
under the table.
As much as I
You
would
turn
love
red
to
this
right
time.
now.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
Hence the reason why I got you a hat that I thought was from Puerto Rico.
But what I loved about Alex Rodriguez is, like, even though he was getting shit on all the time, like, the dude hustled.
Yeah, he is.
Even after the second positive steroid test, what was the thing that they did? John Lackey beating him for the Red Sox. What does he do? Just turns around and knocks out a 3-run bomb to straightaway center field. Like, I don't need the roids guy.
Yeah.
Like, I was doing the HGH to kind of get back on the field. I respect that. Also, I believe baseball needs more steroids. That's just me. I want 700-foot home runs, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, man, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Well, absolute.
I mean, look, let's face it. Who doesn't want a 700-foot home run, man? I don't want to watch this pitcher's game.
Just a
I don't
swamp
give a
donkey
shit
all the
about
way
that.
to left field, man. I just
give me 70 home runs in a season.
But I look at Stanton, and like A-Rod kind of at the beginning didn't ingratiate himself to Yankees fans because there's a certain way you got to act as a Yankees ball player, right?
Yeah.
You got to be able to handle the pressure. I look at Giancarlo Stanton, and I still don't look at him as a Yankee. And he's been there for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
And I
been a
love
minute.
my team, dude.
Yeah.
I absolutely I've watched so much baseball this year. It's not even funny.
Sure.
And I keep on watching them. I'm like, I hate this guy. It's so rare for me to be like, I don't like a baseball player that plays for the Yankees. I loved Ruben Sierra, of all people. David Wells, a big fat lefty, was like my favorite player of all time growing up. And I just, for whatever reason, cannot like Giancarlo Stanton.
I mean,
And then I
he's
see
not,
this.
you know-
I see this nonsense, and I hate him even more. Yes, can I get one more, please? Thank you.
David, she didn't hear you, I don't think.
That's okay.
Oh, okay.
Can I have some more water?
Oh, yes, that's good. Whisper, make sure she hears you. Okay. He's like, excuse me. He throws his glass at her. He's all boing. Yeah, I mean, I obviously don't like the Yankees at all, but I could see your discontent with Stanton. I mean, for all the great things he did with the Florida Marlins or now
How
Miami
does he
Marlins.
run that slow?
Well, because he is slow or doesn't give a shit, one of the two. But he has been an utter disappointment with New York. I mean, he was, obviously he was the next best thing since sliced bread in Miami. But then I don't know what it is, but ever since he's come to New York, and maybe it's all the other stars that are there, or the pressure of being in the biggest city in the country and being in the biggest market, he just has not lived up to the hype, and it's a disappointment. I would not be a Giancarlo Stanton. And then when is he ever playing? And when he does play, he's a disappointment.
But then he just turns on one, and it's an absolute fucking.
But then he runs like freaking,
Well, maybe that's why he's
90-year-old man.
He's used to just being able to hit like just bombs,
Yeah.
and jogging them out.
He's
That
all,
he
"I have to
kind of
run."
forgot what he was doing at second base there
He's
for a
all,
minute.
it's like I have to run. Oh, how am I going to do this?
And I'm like, okay, this guy obviously every day he goes to the gym, zero cardio. I'm willing to say it right now, Giancarlo Stanton. You've never hit a treadmill in your life.
Right? What's a treadmill?
As I've gotten older, that's like the only thing I can do is a treadmill and an elliptical. That's it, man.
Well,
You're much younger than I am, Giancarlo Stanton. You should be able to run still.
That's right. You tell him.
Instead,
Nope.
I My dad is 93, and I bet he hustles harder.
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, no doubt. Much better hustler than that.
Also, I played catch with my dad once whenever I was younger, and I had to remember that my dad was born in the 1930s.
Sure.
Right? And for me, whenever I pitched, it was, real quick, you get into it and then you go, right? He did the old school, like Satchel Paige wind up, like Walter Johnson style wind up whenever he was throwing baseballs to me. And it just reminded me like how baseball has evolved over the last 100 and whatever years. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Our waitress, Jasmine, whenever you come out here to Union Draft House, ask for her.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
She's fantastic.
Can I borrow one of your lemons? You don't mind, do you? Thank you.
Take
What a nice, thank you. What a nice guy.
Oh, look at that.
You need lemon for your water, in my opinion. It's not the same without it.
Do you?
Yeah, I like lemon in the water. Good for your kidneys too, by the way. FYI. Okay.
Oh, that's also like.
You've heard that.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about like a little personal stuff here. I'm like the absolute worst. Like, how the hell did I ever get paid to do this? So the other day, I actually went to a doctor's appointment for the first time in effing years.
Yeah.
And I actually want to do something real quick. Adrian Zamudio, he's actually followed a lot of the stuff that I've done since iHeart, even since before coming back from ESPN. He's been a supporter of mine. Works over at Peter Piper on Lee Trevino. Wants us to give them a little bit of love.
Love Peter Piper.
I will always do that. Even though the pizza's not that great,
Good
the
grease
entertainment
for me.
is fantastic. The entertainment's fantastic.
Yeah, I like the grease myself.
To me, if you go to Peter Piper for the pizza, you're not doing it right.
Personally, I like the buffet. The buffet is a good deal, right? $8, you eat like Buster's Gang. You get a salad, and you can order specialty pizzas.
I'll take you guys' word for it.
No, it's a good grease.
I know I'm a weird ass dude. As Stephen Michael Puga's downstairs.
Oh, that's our buddy.
Yes, he's getting his.
I like him.
Lame ass.
I haven't seen that guy in like a year.
Eagles jersey as he's downstairs just waiting.
He must be happy his team lost in the Super Bowl.
But like I said, so I went to the doctor's office. They told me I had to do blood work. I hate needles.
Yeah, it
the time where you'll see me like my most afraid
during a needle
is like getting my blood drawn.
It sucks, man.
I'm sitting there shaking the whole time, but they finally draw blood for me for the first time since 2018.
Wow, dude!
Right, I was in
5
Connecticut
years.
the last time that it happened.
And how did everything come out?
I was expecting to get like a "you're dying in 2 weeks"
Sure,
type thing.
Sure. Your blood type is gravy.
Perfectly healthy.
Wow, that's good. A1C is good and everything.
My A1C is good. My cholesterol, like altogether, is up by a single point. She's like, just stop eating so much steak all the time.
Blood sugar good.
Yeah. Notice how I'm not drinking dark beers.
No, light beers. Okay.
So I'm making those little changes. Zero, like not bad at anything. As Puga brings his pride flag Eagles jersey here with him. He's super happy to be. You know what? You be loud and proud about who you are.
And then the weight was good too. Your weight looks great.
I mean, I've lost a little bit of weight.
Yeah, you look handsome as they make them.
So
you were happy though with the visit.
I wasn't happy. I was shocked. I was like, that's got to be someone else's blood work. Like, there's no way. I was like, I've got to be somewhat like pre-diabetic. I've got to have like high cholesterol. They're gonna be like I said, I was legitimately my line of demarcation was if they don't tell me I'm dying in 2 weeks, I'll be happy. Sure. It was no, you're actually really healthy.
Oh, good.
You just gotta we gotta get this stuff with your back fixed. Is basically what they told me.
Sure,
so we gotta get that figured out.
Well, you're okay though.
I got an MRI in 2 weeks, so we'll see how that goes.
I'll be hoping
as I get old and broken here. I was talking to Destiny about this earlier today, as a matter of fact. I'm 39, right?
Young man.
And then there's points where I'll look at myself and be like, damn, I actually look pretty decent for being 39 because growing up, we would watch sitcoms. The dad would be 39 years old and he looked like a bag of smashed asshole.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
I'm looking at myself now I don't look as bad as Homer Simpson.
Nah.
So maybe I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
And I'm as I get older, I'm gonna age gracefully.
Yeah, like a fine wine.
I don't know.
And I'm 44. I mean, I haven't aged too bad, right?
Also, as we continue to lead the city of El Paso in Arizona Rattlers talk, the Rattlers lost yesterday in the first round of the playoffs. They're out, Brandon, 62-53. What a playoff game for football!
Good game. That's a good game.
It was a fun time. Look at that high-scoring
football
game.
Took the over.
I bet you that was the under too. Because I know nothing about arena football or indoor football because we can't call it arena anymore.
No, it's indoor.
Okay,
don't get it wrong.
So you and I have been talking for the better part of an hour now. We haven't gotten to 90% of what I told you I wanted to talk about.
I was like, well, so much for that. That goes out. That waits for next week.
Real quick, because as we know, the NFL season is coming up on us right now. we've had the draft, we've had free agency. Teams are built. They're going to get ready for the season push, barring any injuries. Let's knock on wood, no one gets hurt, right?
Yeah.
Out of all the teams that are in the NFL,
Yeah.
who do you think is clearly head and shoulders above everyone else? I know it's not the Dallas Cowboys.
No, not at all.
But who do
Absolutely
you
not.
think it is? Because
Well,
to me,
I mean,
you
go
got
ahead.
really two options, but I'll let you go first.
Well, I mean, look, in the AFC, again, it starts with Kansas City. Everything starts with Kansas City because they've proven that no matter how many players they lose, it's all about Patrick Mahomes, and he is the best quarterback of the generation, and clearly getting better every year. And they are the best coach team. They are the strongest team. They're very strong defensively. He is the clutchest quarterback we've seen in a long time. So, to me, the best team by far in the NFL is Kansas City. In the NFC, I think San Francisco is a quarterback away, or we'll see what happens, from being a Super Bowl team. I really do. I think they have with McCaffrey's going to have a huge year. Their offensive line is good. They have the receivers. They're well coached. They have a great defense. I feel this is their year potentially to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Obviously, Philly's going to be good again, but if I'm picking two teams right now, I'm going San Francisco and KC. Just to be silly right now. Obviously it's preliminary here.
I agree with you on Kansas City. I think the Chiefs are just, again,
Just
head
that
and
much better
shoulders
than
so much
everybody
better.
else. Yeah.
And they actually have cap space to do a bunch of things that they want.
Amazing.
That contract with Mahomes, even though it's this huge contract, very team-friendly somehow,
Sure.
they're able to kind of navigate that, bring the players that they need. But the team to me that I think is clearly the best in the NFC are once again the Philadelphia Eagles.
They're
Daver's
good.
team,
They're good.
Stephen Michael Puga's team. I actually think that we might have one of the rare times where we
Repeats.
have a Super Bowl that's a repeat of the the previous year's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get Kansas City and Philadelphia in the Super Bowl again, and I hope Philadelphia loses in double overtime. Just the most heartbreaking
Just
way
for Puga,
possible.
just for our buddy Puga.
No, just for all the Philadelphia Eagle fans, except for Dave. I like Dave. Dave's a
he's
good
man
guy.
with a knife and a
The
fork.
rest of you guys are absolute dog shit, and I just don't like them at all.
And here's
None of
the
them.
thing: if it drags into double overtime, it's good for the networks. It would improve their ratings. It's the ultimate cliffhanger.
I just want them, and like one of you might actually be too, right, Puka? Like you like all things Philadelphia. All things Philadelphia. 76ers are hot garbage. The Phillies lost in the World Series. The Eagles lose in the Super Bowl. Me as a hater, super happy, right? hate. But I see like my friends like Puga, like Pat Costello over at ESPN. I see them. I see the hurt in their eyes, and you know what? It makes me fucking happy.
What a dick.
I am.
Hey, I hate the Eagles
about
just
it.
as much, dude. Let's say
No,
but yeah,
my
they're gonna be
level
good.
of
They're
hatred,
gonna
like
be
I literally think that my existence on this planet, hating the way that
Because,
I do,
look-
is why the Cowboys and Yankees don't win anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, perhaps. I mean, but all I know is that Hurts is getting better. Again, a strong offensive line. Again, they get the kid, one of the best draft picks, in the whole draft. What a steal he was. Defensively, they're so good.
Well, they were. They lost
Yeah.
a lot of starters on defense.
But
due to free
they'll
agency.
rebound, I think. But
Yeah.
but I mean, for me, their running game is wicked. I mean, their running game's going
But
to be
then
so deep.
they also lost Miles Sanders. I know they got Swift from
but they got
Detroit,
Swift,
but
and they'll
like
be okay.
it's-
I mean,
yeah.
they got a lot of good running backs. Boston Scott.
Yeah.
So I think Philadelphia is going to be. Yeah, I mean, they're one of my picks too in the NFC.
I look at them and like, you know as well as I do, like a lot of this is just in jest. Where like
Come
I'm just,
on, I mean,
you know,
anything
yeah.
can happen. You lose your quarterback
But
week 2 and you're done.
I look at them and the Cowboys in the NFC East, and I say,
they're
okay,
so much
those are the
better.
two teams.
Yeah.
But then whenever you put them head to head on paper,
Yeah.
the Dallas Cowboys pale in comparison.
And to me,
The Cowboys to me might have a better defense, but
That's-
overall,
yeah, but,
Philadelphia is a better team.
the man with the little hands, though, I'm worried about him. I'm worried about him. I'm not going to lie. He throws too many picks. He says he's done. I don't believe him.
I'm so glad
I
you
don't
brought
believe
that up.
him.
I am so glad you brought that up because this week or maybe late last week, I see a document from the Dallas Cowboys. Like they put it out on ESPN where Dak Prescott's like, I need to stop throwing interceptions.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. You don't say.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Thank you, Mr. Obvious. And he says, I'm done because now McCarthy's calling the plays. And you know what? I'm calling a spade, man. He's going to keep throwing the freaking interceptions. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but come on now. Really?
If McCarthy was the one that came up with that last play for Zeke Elliott's career in the Dallas Cowboys, we're fucked.
Good luck.
So last year I said the Cowboys might be like a wild card team. This year I'm thinking the Cowboys win maybe 8 games. Like I just don't see it. I still feel like the defense is going to regress. And I know that Trayvon Diggs and Dak Prescott were yelling at each other yesterday in practice, and like Trayvon's like, "Oh, that's my brother!" Ha 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 ha. The reason why I think Trayvon Diggs was yelling at Dak Prescott is because he probably caught more passes than the receivers
You're
did.
right. Yeah, no, I mean Dallas will be decent. I think Dallas will make the playoffs. I think they'll win 10 games, but my hopes are not overly high on them.
Pessimistic Tipton.
I
don't think I've ever been pessimistic.
I think they'll win 10 games. I think they'll be a wild card.
You know what? I'm gonna keep with my trend. The Dallas Cowboys will win the Super Bowl.
Yay! There we go. Let's have lose again.
6,000 to 1 odds. Put it like $100 on the Dallas Cowboys. If they win the Super Bowl, you get like what, 60,000?
Might as well be 100,000.
Might as well do it. I mean,
Our Cowboys,
I would
know the
do
way
it.
they are.
I'm not gonna do it. I don't trust the Cowboys at all.
I don't either.
Okay, so everyone, I want to thank you so much. I know we've been talking for a little bit. We didn't get to hit all the subjects that I wanted to talk about today, but we will try to do that a little bit later. I'm just glad to have my buddy back. We got David here as well.
And our buddy
Puga
David.
joined us, and that reminds me of the one thing that I want everyone to take away from this show. That's fuck the Philadelphia Eagles.